Good morning. I'm delighted to welcome you all here to our groundbreaking ceremony. It's been a number of years in the planning. We're very fortunate as a planning department to be able to bring this project to fruition. I'm Dennis Harrington, Planning Director, City of Quincy, and I'm here to officially welcome all the participants that will be part of this groundbreaking. And of course, this project is a community project. It's a project for the Brewers Corner community and the Southwest Quincy community. It's been a long time coming. As I said, we started this plan about 4 years ago. Unfortunately, with the advent of some ARA dollars that were given to the City of Quincy and some energy dollars that were given to the City of Quincy, we were able to combine funding with community development block grant funds that were available to do this project, including the traffic lights for this intersection. This project will continue for a period of 2 years. You'll be hearing from Christina Johnson of my staff about the project itself, the details. But to open the program, I'd like to ask the Reverend Sheldon Bennett to give a reflection.
Congressman Keating and elected officials, distinguished guests, and neighborhood residents. It is an honor to offer this reflection here for this Brewers Corner Community Project. Now, it is not often that members of the clergy are asked to offer a reflection at a groundbreaking for new stoplights, sidewalks, and street crossings. But this is exactly what we should be doing. I mean, so often clergy and parishioners, too, we think that we tend only to the inner spiritual lives of individuals. But as the Hebrew prophets understood long ago, if religion is about anything, it's about the life that we have in community together and as a nation together, as much as religion is about our individual spiritual lives. It is also about our building the common good. It is about pooling our resources as a nation with the energies and the imagination and the commitment of people in local communities to improve neighborhoods, support youth programs, assure fair housing, support local business initiatives, and encourage volunteer community service right here where people actually live. This Brewers Corner neighborhood improvement gives visible testimony that we care about our local communities, that each community is important, especially those communities which may be less fortunate in their own financial resources. This improvement here, green with trees and LED traffic signals and disability accessibility, gives, do I dare say it, concrete testimony to the strength and vitality, the creativity and spirit of this neighborhood, and thus of our city, and of the quality and to the quality of each of our lives. So I ask us now just to pause for a moment to ask divine blessing upon this ceremony, upon these projects that we celebrate this week. And let us give thanks for the creativity, the devotion, and energy of so many people at many levels of government and here in our neighborhoods who have worked hard to make this day happen. And let us ask blessing upon the civic life we build together for the sake of the common good that we all share. So may it be. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. To continue with our program, I would like to acknowledge several of the officials who have taken the time to attend with the community this morning. I've seen Councilor Margaret LaForest, our Ward 1 councilor, is here, along with our State Senator, John Keenan, and State Representative Bruce Ayers. When you start mentioning names, you always miss someone, so I'm sure there's another elected official out there. And, of course, the ward councilor is there, but he'll be included in the remarks. With that, I would like to introduce our representative in the United States Congress, William R. Keating. Mr. Keating has a long history with the city of Quincy, both as a state official and a county official, being the Norfolk County District Attorney. He's been deeply involved in the Quincy communities and deeply involved in programs that benefit the youth and adults of the city of Quincy. We expect that he, as our congressman, will continue his involvement with the city of Quincy. He's a resident here now in our city, and we're hoping that even though it's a difficult time in Washington, that he will do what he has always done, and that is make sure that the programs that Quincy relies on are enhanced by federal assistance. Congressman.
Well, thank you, Dennis, and Reverend Bennett. The Reverend and I have worked on many areas that don't seem to be spiritual in nature, the outer spirituality and the inner spirituality. We worked on both, and it's great to continue working. And certainly, I think as we look at an intersection, and you look at all the benefits that come from this, it's a terrific metaphor, because our lives all intersect one way or another. Now, what's needed a little bit more in Washington right now is a greater understanding that that is the case, that indeed many of the things that we work on together benefit ourselves in our own self-interest. When we're helping other people, we're helping ourselves advance. Now, I am aware of the cuts that occurred in the CDBG block grants in the President's budget and in our efforts in the House, and have fought to preserve them. And as people began to talk to me about them, I had to tell them that you don't have to explain to me the benefits of how this is used and how it's leveraged, because I've seen it firsthand, and I've seen it most prominently in the city of Quincy. I've seen what Dennis has done with the money. I've seen what our local officials, both at the city level and the state level, have done. I've seen what people in the Germantown community have done to use these monies, to leverage them to benefit everyone's lives. And I try to tell my colleagues, too, that this is cost effective. This particular funding source is an important one because it can be tailored to the needs of an individual city and even deeper into an individual neighborhood. And that's what has happened here in Quincy. I've seen it from neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood. And I've seen the benefit of it. I've seen how nonprofits, and I've seen how private business people, and I've seen how the city have come together to leverage that money to make it a greater contribution. And as I look around here and see people from the neighborhood being part of it, I realize that you're part of that leveraging as well. We'll continue to fight those kind of ill-informed cuts because they do work in the opposite direction. They are something that bear fruit in many ways. They are something as we intersect in our lives, whether it's a housing need here in the city, whether it's helping a particular neighborhood, whether it's helping women get back to work with the image program. There's so many other things I've seen that demonstrate to me personally, and that I am an apostle of, if I can be so bold. Go for it, he said. In terms of saying how important this kind of investment is. So today is a day to celebrate one of those investments. It's a day to look forward to the fact that we need continued efforts in this respect, because it's going to be something that enhances all of our lives. So as we look out and see a little bit of disruption that we have to put up with, remember that that's for a beneficial need as well. Congratulations on all your wise planning. and all your thoughtfulness. And it's a great example of federal government working with state, local, and neighborhood people for something that's going to be beneficial. So I look forward to continuing this, realizing that there might be some cuts, but realizing that we'll continue to fight for those because we'll see the evidence and the fruit that it will bear. Thank you very much.
While I do have the mic before I introduce our next speaker, I see Jim Clark is here. He's the planning director of Weymouth, a longtime planning director, and has worked with the Quincy Planning Department in our consortium for decades. And we welcome Jim here. And we know that Jim has a program, Community Development Day in Weymouth. I believe it's Wednesday, with Mayor Kay, and we wish you well with that program. I see also Chief Keenan is here from our police department, and Chief, thank you very much for your assistance this morning. Many departments did participate. Traffic engineer Jack Gillen, Public Works at DPW, Commissioner Prendeville's staff, the city engineer, purchasing, law department. There was a lot of city departments that had a hand in making this program move forward, and we appreciate the assistance given by all of the departments. Now I have the pleasure at this point to introduce our next speaker, who is the new director of the New England office of Community Planning and Development for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and that's Robert Shumenko. Mr. Shumenko.
Good morning. I first wanted to thank the Congressman for his support for all our programs, our HUD programs, particularly in these tough economic times. I wanted to say, first and foremost, that yeah, this project is about planning and it's about neighborhood revitalization. But from our office perspective, and we work with 61 cities and states in New England, basically the whole New England region, it's about a partnership between the cities and more so the communities that we serve. And I'm a bureaucrat, and you know, I work for you. You guys, you're the taxpayers, and you pay my salary. But I want to say that projects like this are really what we're all about. And this is what you know, our buzzwords are like best practice, a great thing. I worked as a practitioner in neighborhood revitalization. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to turn around neighborhoods on the ground, on a case-by-case basis. We're trying to look at those best practices, things that are happening, and particularly communities, which Quincy is. It's a community that's not just about a municipal government. I work with municipal and state governments. It's about a community and the folks that live in that community and have a stake in what happens with that community. And our money through the HUD programs, particularly the Community Development Block Grant Program, our home program, we have homeless programs, we really are looking towards quality of life improvements, making a real difference. But as a bureaucrat, and it's almost, to me, it's a dirty word because we're not bureaucrats, we're really partners. We're trying to make that difference. And the nice thing about coming out today is to see what's to some is yeah, it's an accessibility. We're making a curb cut. We're doing new infrastructure. But you walk around and there's other projects, and it's about a holistic approach to changing the lives of people. And so we sometimes forget that, yeah, we look at, I say, well, we have infrastructure improvements. But it's not about the granite curb. It's about making people's lives easier and where they can focus on other things and the jobs that it creates. And where these are the critical pieces of the puzzle that I'm happy to say that our money at the Office of Community Development Programs at HUD can make a difference. And I think that this is an example, a small example. And the city has done many, many wonderful things, and it's going to continue to do with our money. And I really want to say a profound thank you to all the folks that are involved in this, particularly to the elected officials and to the Quincy planning staff, and the neighborhood residents who sometimes feel that, well, geez, when is something going to happen? They get this money. When is the project going to take place? And those of us who work in government, we know that things move slowly. But I know that I have a commitment from me that in my office, we're trying to work more closely. We're trying to listen more, which I think that government sometimes doesn't do a good job, which is listening to people, to hearing what the problems are, and to think of creative ways and creative solutions to attacking many of the same problems that we've had over time. And yeah, it's a tough budget time, and it will be tough for a long time. But that behooves us to work more closely with our partners in a more effective use of that funding and to stretch it longer. And we can see the types of leveraging today that go on, how we tie in these resources towards the end that we're trying to achieve, which is that better quality of life I think that everybody in the United States really is looking forward. And I want to really thank everybody for their hard work and our deep appreciation as an agency to that. And thank you very much, and have a great afternoon.
Bob, thank you very much. Thank you for attending this morning and for your words about Quincy, including the planning department staff. We do have a wonderful staff. I'm very fortunate to have award-winning planners, and they have probably garnered a dozen regional awards from the American Planning Association in the past 3 years, as well as a half dozen national awards for projects that they've been involved in. And this project may be a future award-winning project. We had a very limited amount of money available, and over the past 3 or 4 years, we've, with the help of Bob Donnell, our financial advisor, put money away to do a neighborhood project. We all hoped to do downtown, but we wanted to do one neighborhood business district while we were working on the downtown projects, and we chose this project. It took several years with modest allocation of community development funds to put together the public works money. And then we did have with Liz Manning on an energy grant with Steve Conley and Christina Johnson on the ARA grants with Director Nancy Callahan. We found some very modest sums of ARA money and energy money to fill out what was necessary to do this intersection, both the public works and the lightings for it. It was 4 years in the making, and it'll be 2 years in the construction, but it's going to be a great asset to this part of the city of Quincy. And, well, again, while I have the mic, Mayor Koch is with President Obama's appointee to the EPA. Dr. Onassis is a Quincy resident, and they're meeting this morning about projects in the downtown. I think the mayor will be along in short order, but he won't be speaking here today, so on his behalf, we want to say that the city is delighted that you all have chosen to attend this morning. The city's of Quincy's remarks will be presented now by Ward 4 City Councilor Brian Palmucci.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's great to see such a good turnout, especially among folks who live in the neighborhood. It's really important that you folks are here because you're the driving force behind this project and projects like this. I think back to when I was going door to door about a year and a half ago, and I was knocking on folks' doors and asking them what issues they were concerned about, and I heard over and over again from people who live in this area that something needs to be done down here. At Brewers Corner is falling apart. It's literally falling apart. And one of the first meetings I had after getting elected, prior to even being sworn in, was with Dennis Harrington. And he showed me this plan that had been shelved for some time. It had been completed years ago, but never anything was ever done on it. So I kind of see my job here today as being the guy who thanks everyone. So I thank the members of the neighborhood for coming. I thank Mr. Harrington and his excellent staff as he said, award-winning staff for choosing to do this project, for making this the next project that they turn their considerable attention to. I also wanted to thank Mayor Koch, who's been phenomenal in providing support to myself and to residents down in this area, and for pushing this project forward. Now, what we're doing here and what we're kicking off today is some infrastructure improvement, some much-needed infrastructure improvement to an area that, quite frankly, in my opinion, has been far too long overlooked. And that's great. It's much needed. We're going to get the new intersection, the new sidewalks. In the next 2 years, you're going to see this whole area transform and take on new shape and hopefully new life. Along with that, we're also going to try and address, and I see it as my job, we're putting some of this federal dollars here to work. We're putting significant financial resources in the infrastructure. We should also try and expand that to some of the social issues that plague Brewers Corner and that have for many years. And with Mayor Koch's assistance, we have formed a Brewers Corner task force, which, and I would like to point out there's 2 members of that task force here today. I'd like to thank them for their work. Lauren Renga of Smith Street and Pat Corcoran of Patriot Plumbing. And these folks, myself and some other residents of this area, are working hard to address some of these social issues to go along with this infrastructure improvement. We're going to increase code enforcement, increase community policing. Our community policing officer, Tom Gator, is in the back of the room. And it doesn't just stop here with this groundbreaking. This is a community improvement, community development. And just what the name says, it goes beyond just the dollars for the brick and the mortar, but it also extends to the social issues. And by breaking ground today, we're hopefully starting anew in Brewers Corner, and we'll have much success moving forward. So I just want to thank everyone, thank Congressman Keating for his work down in D.C. to continue to fight for the funds for projects like this, and thank Mr. Harrington and the mayor. So thank you all for coming.
Councilor, we appreciate the remarks. There is a comment that's on the program by Mayor Koch, and I will read it. The mayor's comment with respect to this project is as follows. The economic development component of Community Development Block Grant Program is a powerful tool to revitalize and strengthen neighborhood areas, such as Brewers Corner. Through the strategic use of Community Development Block Grant Program funds in Brewers Corner, we will invest in physical infrastructure, support local businesses, and assist Quincy families. That's the mayor's statement, and again, I do expect that he'll be along after his meetings with Dr. Anastas. I would now like to ask for her part in this program, and may I say Christina Johnson is a very large part of this program. She's the project administrator. She was the driving force behind coordinating all the various funding components. We couldn't do this with community development alone. We needed some ARA funding, and the traffic lights would require the U.S. Department of Energy. And she did a great job. I'm sure you're going to give her a big round of applause. And now we're going to hear from her.
Very embarrassing. We tend to be very humble in the planning department. As Dennis said, my name is Christina Johnson. I'm the principal planner with the planning department. Actually, this project's been in the making for almost 5 years because it started right after I began my tenure with the city of Quincy. Dennis identified the Brewers Corner neighborhood as an appropriate place to target some of our CDBG funds for business district revitalization activities. During the project development phase, Councilor Palmucci referenced we conducted a revitalization plan, which many of you have seen. The purpose of this plan was to first provide an assessment of the infrastructure conditions, and 2, it set us up to be able to spend our federal community development block grant money. It was our justification to meet our HUD national objectives. And basically, the report identified the need for new sidewalks, ADA-compliant ramps, new pedestrian amenities, new crosswalks, and also a redesigned intersection with new traffic signals. And also during this phase, we reached out to the Ward 4 Neighborhood Association. This project has spanned 2 mayoral administrations, and we worked with the Neighborhood Association to get their support and endorsement of this plan. Unfortunately, this project suffered the fate of many neighborhood improvement projects: lack of funding to get a proper engineering design that's typical of many big infrastructure projects, and the money to purchase a new traffic signal. We had the CDBG funds, as Dennis mentioned, that were set aside to complete the eligible construction activities, the sidewalks, the ADA compliant issues, addressing some of the pedestrian safety issues. But we had no money for the design and no money for the traffic signals. So basically, last summer, we had a watershed moment. We had a lot of Recovery Act money come through the department, through the Community Development Block Grant Program, but also through the Department of Energy's Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Program. The DOE funds allowed the city to purchase an LED traffic signal, and both the CDBG, our Recovery Act program, and the DOE allowed us to use some money to get a design done. Hooray! That was probably the biggest hurdle, was getting the engineering design done, and without the Recovery Act funds, the plan would still be lying dormant on a shelf somewhere. And without the CDBG funds, we would not have new sidewalks, we would still be non-compliant with ADA, with the ramps, and we would have no new pedestrian amenities. And without the DOE funds, we would still be living with the 1945 era traffic signals. We planning geeks think that those are pretty cool, but they need to go. They're not helping to move traffic efficiently and safely. I was thinking maybe we need to contact the MIT Transportation Museum, because these are relics that are out here, perhaps the oldest in the state. This project really underscores the effectiveness of the Recovery Act funds for generating economic development, and the necessity of the CDBG funds for helping the city build strong, vibrant neighborhoods, and we hope to do similar projects in other neighborhoods in Quincy. Before closing, I would like to recognize some folks who have been instrumental in moving this project forward. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Mayor, Tom Koch, with his unwavering support of this project. Councilor Palmucci, with his newly formed task force, is going to continue the momentum. I would also like to thank Dennis Harrington and Nancy Callahan for their continued support and guidance throughout this whole entire process. Also, I would like to thank the entire staff of the Planning Department. Just about every member of the Planning Department touched this project in some way, whether it was paying bills, revising contracts, ensuring Recovery Act reporting compliance. Everybody played a role. In particular, I would like to thank Liz Manning. When we hit some institutional or funding roadblocks along the way, which happens, Liz never once got discouraged, threw up her shoulders, and said, "We can't do it." She sat down with me one day and said, "We just need to make this happen. This neighborhood deserves some public investment. Can't we just do this and move it forward?" I've never forgotten this, Liz, and it has stuck with me throughout the entire process and keeps me going. And thank you for reminding me of why I became an urban planner in the first place, because it's about helping people and helping neighborhoods. Also, I'd like to recognize the design team. The city couldn't have asked for a better team of design professionals. We have the president of Woodard & Curran here, Doug McEwen. Joe Shea of Woodard & Curran served as the overall project manager. Dave White also was managing the project. He was described to me as the engineer's engineer. He made sure all the designs were done appropriately and delivered on time. There's a lot of engineering constraints that are out there given the age of the infrastructure. MDM Transportation, with Ron DeRocha serving as the project principal. They provided all of the transportation or the traffic design review and engineering, and they worked very closely with our city engineer, Jack Gillen, to ensure everything is going to be incorporated with the city's existing traffic infrastructure. Also, I'd like to thank John Stevenson for his work for the resident engineer. He's on site every day. And Tony Lasordo, our from the planning department, who's working with John every day out there, eyes on the street, working with the contractor to make sure things are done properly. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank Mario Susi and Sons, the contractor for this project. In just 1 month, they have demonstrated their commitment to getting this project done in the most expeditious fashion while carrying out the engineering specifications. I really look forward to seeing the final product in August, and pretty much the bulk of the infrastructure is going to be completed by the end of this summer. Thanks everybody for coming today. I hope and encourage all of you to attend some of our other Community Development Week events coming up throughout the week. Thanks everybody.
I think that I might be one of the few people that grew up with red and yellow pedestrian lights, but most of the people who work for me have never seen one before. But this is the last one in Quincy, and it is a relic. That being said, this project will go forward with, we'll lose our red and yellow pedestrian lights, but we will have efficient lighting. We'll have handicapped access at the curb. We'll have sidewalks that work. And I did mention this was a 2-year project. Well, of course, there's going to be a lot of realignment of curbs and a lot of repair to pavement and a lot of repair to the areas, the vehicular driving areas. All of that needs to settle, and the final coat of this pavement and the final finish will not come till next year, which is proper construction. It is a 2-phase project, although probably 80% of it plus will be done in the first phase by August of this year. And then it's the task for streetscape design. Mary Smith from the department is a registered landscape architect, and she will be working with all of the parties, including the neighborhood group that's interested, and Councilor Palmucci, to make sure that the trees and the sidewalks and the streetscapes are aesthetically pleasing. There's been a tremendous lack of aesthetics in this area for a long, long time, and although it won't become a garden, it certainly will become an area that is green and that is aesthetically pleasing after all of the public works is completed. I have, now, we do understand that we are celebrating Community Development Week in the city of Quincy. We've been talking an awful lot about this one project, and it deserves the talk, and we're delighted that you all came to listen to the program. But it is Community Development Week, and historically, on the first day of Community Development Week, we have honored parties that have been very, very important to the community development effort in the city of Quincy. And I'd like to ask Nancy Callanan to come up. We do have 2 awards.
Thank you, Dennis. As Dennis said, every year we have the Mayor's Annual Community Service Award. And today it's the 5th annual Community Service Award we're being presented. And this year, instead of an individual, we're presenting this to the HouseNet Community Council. And the reason we're recognizing the members of the HouseNet Community Council, these members have shown true community spirit. They will teach us a lot about that. The council has constantly identified the needs of the HouseNet community, and then they have set out to address the needs through great teamwork. They know how to apply for grants and to deal with the needs of the community, and they know how to leverage match money, which is very important for us to secure additional grants. The board is comprised of many residents that willingly volunteer their precious time to make the community better for all. The HouseNet Community Council is a model for the rest of us. They exemplify what the word service means to the community. Today we have several members of the board that will be here, and I'd like them to come up so we could give the award as a group. It's Brian LaRoche is the president, Jim McCarthy is vice president, Eileen Timko, treasurer, Joan Bythros is secretary. Cynthia Lewis is the community development director down there in Houseneck. Michael Rowan is board member. Joanne LaRoche, another board member. Kathy Pravis is a board member, and Jane Gordon. I think I got them all. Is that correct, Brian? And what it says on the award, it's the Mayor's 5th Annual Community Service Award. It's presented to the Houseneck Community Council in recognition of your efforts to achieve your mission of uniting every resident of Houseneck on a common resolve to improve our community by making it a source of pride and pleasure both to ourselves and our children. Your programs at the Houseneck Community Center for Youth, Family, and Seniors are exceptional, and your efficient, effective, and creative use of community development block grant funds is extremely commendable. Your efforts demonstrate a true community spirit, and your service has been exemplary. Given this 25th day of April 2011, Mayor Thomas P. Koch. Congratulations.
I'll keep my remarks short, but it's very nice to be recognized for all the hard work and effort of our members of the board. There are 32 of us on the board, and then we have over 500 members of the community that are members of the Houseneck Community Council. We're blessed to have such a strong sense of service in our community, and all of these people here easily, I think you could say, put in well over 500 hours a year in community service, and it's just an amazing testament to the community. We are very fortunate. And then in respect to the CDGB money, we have a community center, which our community center director, Cynthia Lewis, does an incredible job with limited resources. It's just amazing all the different programs that she runs, in addition to the programs that our council runs too. So we really have the two organizations doing work with the CDGB money. And then just last year alone, we did our community center renovation, which was built about 30 years ago. We took all the money and we used, I think it was 2,000 hours of volunteer time, and used the CDG money to buy the materials. So we took that money and we really stretched it quite far. And that's just a testament to what we do down there. We use very little resources and do an awful lot. And I'm very appreciative to the board for all that hard work. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Margaret LaForest. I'm the Ward 1 counselor and a very, very proud past president of the Houseneck Community Council. And the Community Development Block Grant funds have been utilized in the renovation that Brian referenced. We had asked for $15,000, and the project value was a $55,000 project, including labor and other funds and materials and community council dollars. So we've really stretched the CDBG money and then some. And our community center director, which we do receive community development block grant funds for, we're able to parlay with South Shore Elder Services in a great partnership. And I think what exemplifies the Houseneck Community Council's service is how we work with other organizations within the community, if it's the Boy Scouts, if it's the churches, and to really all work together to improve upon the quality of life of Houseneck residents. It's a great place to live, and I'm very proud that you've received this award today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Really.
Okay, good. Congratulations. Okay, thank you. They are really a true community, and we all could learn a lot from them. Today, this person does not know he's getting an award. Today we are going to recognize this individual for his commitment to community. Now, he became involved with community policing back in 1999, starting here in the southwest part of Quincy, and then he moved on to Montclair section of Quincy. It was when he was located in the Montclair section of Quincy that he became involved with our North Quincy Community Center, excuse me, that was temporarily situated in the basement of a church up in that section of the city. Then 4 years ago, we were able finally to create a North Quincy Community Center next to North Quincy Library. And then Greg Marr, our community policeman, continued to help us with anything and everything. He is a liaison between the Asian population that comes to the community center, seeking information and understanding of what is happening in their new community. Greg also helps the city get information out into the community through his translation of existing materials and through interpretation he provides for the newcomers when necessary. He has helped squelch rumors that could be inflammatory, and he has been able to share information to assist residents of the city. His presence in the North Quincy Community Center brings an understanding between the Asian newcomers and their new country. He has assisted Asians as they transition into this new culture. He helps them understand how the police work in this country, and he makes the Asians feel comfortable in their new surroundings. He has gone beyond the call of duty in what he contributes back to the city through the North Quincy Community Center. Therefore, we are pleased to present this award today to Greg Marr. Greg, could you please come up? We didn't want to tell you. Congratulations. Would Chief Keenan, would you like to come up also with Greg? Greg has been such an asset in the north end of the city, and we are so pleased that we could honor him today. And I'm glad that his chief is here with him also, Chief Keenan. And so we'd like to present this to Greg on behalf of the city. And the chief made sure that Greg got down here today one way or the other. Thank you. And it says the City of Quincy Community Development Week 2011, the certificate of recognition is presented to Officer Greg Marr in recognition of your outstanding work as a community police officer in the City of Quincy and in recognition of your partnership with the city's Department of Planning and Community Development in making the North Quincy Community Center a vibrant place for all residents to learn and grow. Congratulations.
I just want to say something. I couldn't do this without Sandra Buckley and Steve Buckley. They've been a great asset, and it's been a joy working with them.
Thank you.
Again, we are going to conclude the program with a groundbreaking ceremony, and then there is a light lunch to follow. You're all invited, and we hope you stay and enjoy the lunch. I must say that we were very, very happy to participate with the mayor as a planning department in giving the Housing and Community Council the Mayor's Award. They are, without question, a great asset to the city of Quincy. I do know that the President, Brian, with his architectural professional skills, along with Tony Lasordo from my office as an estimator of cost, they really pulled together a wonderful program down there. Now, it did take thousands of hours of community involvement to do it for the limited amount of money that we were able to award them, but they did pull it off, and they have a phenomenal program in what is now a adequate setting for community development in Howes Neck. It had become a very difficult site over the years after a lot of use, and it's wonderful to see it the way it is today and to see the programs that are run there. So the mayor asked me to specifically speak on his behalf with respect to the Housing and Community Council and his appreciation for all that it gives to the city of Quincy. With that, I have one last comment, and the comment is that I'm very fortunate to have a community development director, Nancy Callanan, who does an amazing job, and she has the respect of all the city employees as well as the members of the department, and she deserves a round of applause.